Welcome back to the Street Shaman Podcast. I am your host, Shamanic Poe, aka Poe and the Rockstar, and today I'm here with underground entertainer and actor Chuck Reeves. What's going on, my guy? How you been?
What is cracking, Poe? It's been it's been a couple of months. When was the last time I was over here? I know this ain't my first visit to the Street Shamans. Salute to all my Street Shamans tuned in out there. I know you've been doing the weekly thing over here, keeping my eyes on it, even though I've been here, there, and everywhere besides the internet until the last few weeks.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, man. I think it was like January or February or some shit, but I can't fucking remember. I ain't
It
looked.
might have been as we were coming out the new year, and I finally was getting my bearings about where I thought my life was going.
Right. Um, Last time you talked to me, you talked about acting in a movie, but you was kind of hush hush on it. You didn't give me a lot of details and shit. So now we know it's Phantom Fun World, right?
That is the
So
name of the film. When I spoke to you, it must have been between when we had finished raising money, for the first go round, and when we actually got around to going into production for the first chunk of it. Back, I guess it was in March, April time frame. I got to go to Kentucky and spend a couple of weeks on set, do a couple of days on set as a character in this horror movie, man, and I'm super excited. A lot's been revealed over the past few weeks as far as what my character in the movie is, as far as like the basic plot structure of the film. It is a horror movie. It is an independent horror movie, and we are actually pulling into the last week of what is called our finishing funds campaign. With most independent movies, you got to raise money somehow. So we're doing
right,
things like allowing people to pre-order the movie, pre-order merchandise, and a multitude of other things in order to get these last couple of bucks that we need to put some spit, shine, and polish on this movie. But I'm super excited for people to see it. I know I sent you the trailer. I know a lot of people have seen the trailer already. The first, he's not even calling it a trailer. He's calling it a first look. So,
right,
you're seeing what kind of situation it is, and it's a real deal movie, man. This is not your iPhone in the backyard type of stuff. This is a fully staffed, fully crewed movie production that we went on, and I'm super excited this fall for everybody to see the finished product. But we need to try to get that bitch
absolutely.
finished. We need to try to get these last couple bucks to get this pig finished.
Right, absolutely. No, I actually watched after I saw that trailer. I went to go find some movies that he actually did before. So I watched the Wicked one. It's free on Tubi right now.
Yo, it's
And
one of his. That was one of his first ones,
great.
bro. Let me tell you,
Right.
Tory Jones. This is who you're talking about too, and I'm glad you brought this up because he ain't here and I'm here. But Tory is the mastermind behind all this stuff that we're talking about here. Phantom Fun World, especially. But this is not his first time out. This is actually his fifth or sixth feature film. The Wicked One, The Wicked Ones, They See You, Angel. All his previous films are available in some form or fashion online. Like you just said, you found Wicked One on Tubi for free. I know it's got a sequel out there. I know
Right.
I'm looking at a copy of They See You over here on Blu-ray. That was his last film, and if you saw Wicked One, given that that was one of his first films, compare that to the trailer you watched for Phantom Fun World, and you can see the changes. You can see where this extra
Right.
money's going. You can see
Right.
where his experience and his art has taken him, and how it's
Hmm.
gotten cleaner and more pro looking as things go along. Still with the crazy masks though. That's one thing I'll tell
Right.
you about my boy, Tory Jones. You don't get to see too much in the trailer for Phantom, but he got a thing about these masks, boy, and he got a good eye for them, and he's got a good just a good sense of what's scary. So I'm super excited for people to see like the
Right.
Phantom and his whole vibe, and the whole vibe of the film is kind of like an R-rated Scooby Doo almost, like.
Right. And I saw you talk about that before. You said it's basically like an R-rated Scooby Doo, like an adult Scooby Doo. And I believe you, man. Where did y'all film that shit? Because I know y'all actually probably y'all used the fucking real amusement park and shit. Where did you film it?
Well, it's more or less not an amusement park so much as it's like an indoor fun area. So think about a horror movie version of Chuck E. Cheese. So, but
Okay.
instead of Chuck E. Cheese and Mrs. Rat and Mr. Badger and the guys that play in the band and they're animatronic and they look all crazy. Instead of that, what you've got are 4 actual flesh and blood mascots that control different areas of this fun park. And they all throw back either to something within the horror genre, within that, that motif and that aesthetic, or something directly, literally from Scooby Doo. If you look up the words Phantom Fun World on Google, a lot of Scooby Doo references come up because of the Phantom and the idea of the abandoned amusement park. These are tropes that have existed within the comic structure for decades that finally are being given some flesh and blood live action counterparts. So you've got the Phantom, who's the namesake of the entire park and the person who all the carnage is kind of at the dispersal of the Phantom. It's his place. Then you've got like your different areas. So when you go into like the Polynesian area, you've got to deal with the terrifying Tiki Man. And he's exactly what you think he would look like. Big tiki wooden mask. The type of dude that would curse you if you found the wrong totem while you're on a Hawaiian vacation. Like Polynesian Pete, bro. Like every 1950s beach blanket bingo horrible nightmare that you can think of in this Tiki Man, okay? We've got the Blue Ghost, who is like the water spirit of the of Phantom Fun World, and then controls like the flowing waters of the place and that sort of energy. And that dude's spooky as shit. And then you've got me, Chainsaw Charlie, who's part Hills Have Eyes, part Texas Chainsaw Massacre, part cannibal, part Motel Hell, part Yosemite Sam, all beard and all Chuck Reeves. I'm super excited to people to see what I got to do with the character. I have a couple of decent scenes in here. But I'm not going to lie, man. This fucking thing's a bloodbath. So I'm not going to tell you who lives, who dies, who does the killing, who doesn't do the killing. But I think what you're in for with Phantom Fun World is a horror and entertainment experience unlike anything that you've ever had before.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it. For sure, man. It's like I watch all types of movies. I like to watch indie fucking horror movies, whether they're big time, whether they're indie. I don't give a fuck. I like horror movies for sure. And I think this is gonna be dope. I saw the poster. The poster came out fire.
Oh yeah, Kern Creative Designs on all the graphical and all the poster. To be honest with you, the graphical and where Tori was going with the overall aesthetics of the film itself are what really lured me into this project. For anybody who's not familiar, my involvement in this project as both an actor and as an executive producer was done so through my contribution through the Indiegogo campaign. Which, if you go over to phantomfunworld.com, www.phantomfunworld.com, you can watch that first look trailer, and then there are a bunch of different ways that you can contribute, you can support, and you can help us get this movie done. During the first round of Indiegogo, I got familiar with Tori. I checked out some of his earlier work, like The Wicked One and The Wicked Ones, and I decided I wanted to back his project. So instead of just what was available Indiegogo perk, I opted for something a little more involved. That involved a larger financial, requirement from me, but in the end has given me an executive producer credit, has given me a role within the film and a character that I helped create that I can now take on the road and do at cons and offer to my fans as something, new for them to see if they want to come out and see Chainsaw Charlie. And it also gives me a couple of percentage points on this flick. So if October comes around and it's the new Scream franchise all of a sudden, I might turn, anybody who was able to get in with us on these levels of contribution, you guys, you tend to benefit. So I encourage anybody, man, if you've ever wanted to try to get in the movie industry, they always say, don't wait for a seat at the table, build your own table. So Absolutely. The easiest way for me to build a table in this, case was to partner with Jonestown Films, throw my man Tori a couple of stacks, and get this movie done. And I'm telling you, just from what I've seen so far, every dollar that not only I put towards this film, but the hundreds of other backers that contributed and made a financial contribution towards the completion of this project It's well worth it. The shit I'm seeing, like you said,
Right.
the poster's dope. Our cast is dope. Our cast includes people like L.C. Holt, who's become quite a horror maestro in his own right through movies like You're Next and the film VHS 2. We
Right.
got Wes Robinson. He's known from the most recent Blair Witch film. Someone who's not a stranger at all to independent film or into horror in general. Um,
Right.
the guy who's playing our big, like the guy who owns the park, so to speak, is Ari Lehman, who played the first Jason Voorhees in the original
Right.
Friday the 13th movie.
Right.
We've
Right.
got some dope newcomers like Celeste Blandon, who you're going to see all over the genre in the next year. Celeste is getting ready to pop huge. I think Phantom Fun World may be Celeste's first major film role, but I know she's got 3 or 4 others already on deck. And this girl is about to explode. She is beautiful. She is multifaceted and multi-talented. She can scream her ass off. Her scream on set made every single hair on my body stand up. She is a perfect final girl, and it is an amazing thing to be able to see this person work so early in her career. Jace Carson. Jace is somebody who is from Tori's films in the past. He was in They See You, and he's helping Tori inject some youth and some new vitality into his films. And then Spencer Martinez. This girl, I'm afraid of her. I'm scared. Like, this girl is scary. She got a line in this movie, and I don't even want to give up too much away, but it's my favorite line in the movie. And I'll just say this: if you want to know the vibes of Phantom Fun World, Spencer's character has a line where she says, "Whack ass white boys get no sympathy from me." And if there's not a bigger button to put on independent film and independent entertainment right now, whack ass white boys, y'all get no sympathy from me, son. No sympathy from me. So, like I said,
No,
I'm super
absolutely.
excited. I'm super excited.
Yeah. Me too, man. When I watched the Wicked one on Tubi, that's the one thing that I noticed. The writing is fucking phenomenal. This motherfucker here, Tori, he's fucking phenomenal with the writing. Whoever's doing the writing,
yo,
is superb.
he's such an unassuming dude. Let me tell you,
Right.
me and Tori, like personality wise, we are not similar. We are from completely different areas of the country. We didn't even really get to it, but I was able to go down. We filmed Phantom Fun World in the Lexington, Kentucky area. So I was down there for 2 weeks in Louisville area and Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to lock down usage of, like, trying to think of what you might have around your way. So think about like a Dave and Buster's, but instead of like a full menu, it was like CC's Pizza Buffet. Do you know what a CC's is?
Yep.
So a CC's Pizza Buffet and a Dave and Buster's had a baby. And that's what this place was. It's called Gaddy's Town. It's a local, regional kind of chain joint in Kentucky. When it comes to indoor fun parks, my guy, Kentucky kind of got some shit popping off because I ain't never seen nothing like it. So, like, we have Dave and Buster's here, and then clearly, we have Big Top, and we have Chuck E. Cheese and stuff like that. So they have Hattie's Town, or Gaddy Town, which is far more family oriented and stuff. And there's, you can get your foods and whatnot, and then you can get your little rides on. Like, there's bumper cars and stuff in there on top of your, casino style arcade games, which everything is now. Literally a couple of doors down, in what was an abandoned Walmart, there was a place called Malibu Joe's or something, Malibu something, that was an indoor water park in an abandoned Walmart. Son, I don't know, bro. I didn't go in there. I heard it's a rough style place, but they have all sorts of these type of places down there. And with the explosion of horror-related content that's been going on, the rebirth of the slasher genre with, like, the return of Scream and the return of Halloween to varying degrees of, success, I don't see what we might not see a Chuck E. Cheese or something, some sort of an entertainment entity pop up that has a year-round horror thing. Because we constantly see people that are like, oh, Halloween's only one day a year. Fuck that. I live it all the time. And as we
Right.
see the genre blow up and the fandom blow up and people really live this genre, who knows? We might actually see that shit pop off somewhere somehow. Maybe as part of the movie coming out. Who knows? We might be able to pull something together. You might see Chainsaw Charlie at a party near you. Who knows? Who knows?
Right.
Things are
Right.
crazy right now.
So what was the process for you of making this movie?
So
What did you have to do?
I had gotten involved with a movie called Stream, which is being produced by the guys from Fuzz and Leads Productions, and that's the team behind the Terrifier film and its coming sequels. I got involved with them. That movie
So
is yet to be produced. That movie's still kind of in a holding pattern, which is odd. But I ended up in New Jersey, and as part of after I got involved, I wanted to kind of meet some of the people who were involved. So I go to New Jersey to meet with these people, and while I'm there, I had a windfall of quite a bit of money at the casino, and it was almost as if the universe was talking to me. My parents' first date was Friday the 13th, and my stepfather jumped through the window at my mother when Jason jumped out of the water at the end of the movie. So as I'm looking for new projects to get involved in and to kind of get financially involved in as a producer, he had made the announcement that he had hired Ari, who was the guy who jumped out of the water, and that was the universe talking to me to some degree. And then when we got to talking about what he was thinking as far as me and my character, and he brought up the name Chainsaw Charlie, I couldn't think of anything more appropriate. And when he kind of gave me the breakdown of what he thought the character should look like, and then kind of gave me carte blanche to fill in some of the blanks, and I looked at myself, I don't, damn, this is exactly I couldn't imagine a better place for me to be, because you saw the pictures I sent you. It's all beard, man. It's all beard, and the beard could be fake. That's how ridiculous the whole thing looks, and I've got there's definitely some leather face in there and stuff. So we got the things knocked out. How many percentage points I get on my back end and whatnot. I've also been able to. I'm handling certain aspects of merchandising, especially when it comes to stuff directly related to the mascots. Not so much the movie itself, but the intellectual property of the mascots themselves and the idea of Phantom Fun World as an actual place. So the idea of Phantom Fun World is great, because what you have here is the movie is picking up 30 years after an original tragedy occurred. And that original tragedy at the original fun park. And you have a 30-year time span that if Tori chooses, he can go back and revisit other storylines. He can go forward. He can move laterally and say, instead of this Phantom Fun World location, we're going to go find out what happened here. And it can morph and it can change as many times as he wants. So it's been an awesome process, man. Especially coming from where we come from with music and stuff, because you do get trapped in your own little bubbles, and it's nice to go out and just give up most of the creative control to somebody else. I was able to ad lib, though. I was able to be funny. The lines were funny as they were written, but he let me put some sauce on them, so now they're really funny. You know what I mean? So it was a great process. I love it. I encourage everybody, if you've ever thought about it, get involved. It's worth it. We can get your music in the movie. We can get you in the movie. We can get a picture of you or a loved one in the movie.
Speaking on that, yeah, I'm gonna do my little contribution. I do want a song on the project, on not the album, the fucking movie. Not putting the rock star shit, some shamanic Poe instrumental shit that I got.
That'd be awesome. Shit. Yeah, that's fucking great. And then all those songs, something that's interesting about this independent format and the Indiegogo format, especially when it comes to artists. So typically, if a movie or Madden, I always go to Madden because Madden's the big check. Madden and FIFA were the two biggest checks I ever heard of from somebody. And what that was the homie Token in the same year got 3 or 4 fairly significant checks. One was Madden placement. One was FIFA 21 placement, and those were both PlayStation games. One was Fast and Furious. He was on the soundtrack for the Calvin and Hobbes or whatever the fuck that movie was called.
Right, right, right.
That one. And then he got another check. The biggest of all the checks was the FIFA check, it turned out. But Madden was a close second. When he issued the songs, Madden owns the songs. So he's getting a check every 3 months or whatever because that song's actively being used as a license. But he doesn't own it.
Right.
So the streams that inevitably go up because of people hearing your song over and over again on Madden and liking it, he doesn't see any of that. The company who made the video game does. What we're offering with the Indiegogo is the placement, the advertising that goes along with that placement with no transfer of ownership. So yes, you're paying us and that you're foregoing a big first time payment. But let's say the movie pops huge and all of a sudden you get 1 million streams because somebody heard your thing. That's all your money. We're not putting together a soundtrack. We're not in the music business. We're in the movie business. I know I'm sitting here, and when I'm sitting around, it's most of the time it's music business, but we're not there yet. The soundtracking business, as we know it, is like above the rim and state property and like, you know, all the late 90s stuff that we came to know as soundtrack worthy. Those deals don't even really happen anymore, just due to the change in the music industry. So, you know, we're giving people opportunities here to be part of this new thing. Like that, it's
Right.
It's a little weird. It's definitely new to me. So, I'm excited about it. Everybody who I've dealt.
Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Something happened with the mic.
Everybody who's done this before, I've been doing my best to like do my due diligence because I fucking buy on shit was never my bag, man. Like UGH shit and all that shit, never really my bag, man. But when you're putting money towards a project and you have a feasible, tangible benefit that you're going to receive on the back end that you know is coming, it's very, very easy. It's very, very easy to trust and especially with somebody who's got so many films under his belt. Like, you know what I mean? If this had been his first film, maybe I wouldn't have gone as hard. If this was a long line of trash, which there's plenty of that out there too, just like every other fucking art form. But Jonestown Films, man, Tori got his shit together. I'll tell you what, Tori has got his shit together. And yeah, I mean, the idea right now is if you go to phantomfilmworld.com for as little as $15 or $20, you can pre-order a DVD. You can pre-order a Blu-ray, you can get the poster, you can get a t-shirt, you can get this, you can get that, you can get the next thing. October, we're hoping to have this movie out. Then it will go, you know, people who pre-ordered the DVDs, people who got involved in this stage of the game are guaranteed to see this movie before the end of the year. That's the only way I can guarantee you that you're going to see shit. If you pre-order one of those DVDs within the next 8 days. Because once this second round of funding is over, I think we're no longer looking for money. And if we don't have to show too many people, because that's the thing with distribution, the more people that have seen your movie prior to it being sold, the less money it's worth. That's why nobody saw fucking Avatar until it came out. Okay?
Right.
We're going to fulfill our obligations, which are the pre-ordered DVDs, the pre-ordered Blu-rays, and things like that. As far as it being on a streaming platform, that could take upwards of a year or more. And as far as a more full release on Blu-ray, which will happen, like a Steelbook release, with extra things. Like I intend on doing my own. At the very least, you're going to be able to download a Chuck Reeves commentary from my YouTube channel. Like I'm going to do as much as I can to add content and add replayability for everybody here. Because, you know, I know how this movie shit is. And it's you know, we got to get you guys excited about it. And, so yeah, so if you want to see it and you want to make sure you're seeing it in 2022 and not having to wait until 2023 when Amazon or Shudder or whoever decides they're going to pick it up, picks it up, make sure you head on over phantomfilmworld.com, pre-order one of them DVDs, man. They're only $15. A standard DVD, which is what most people I think are getting because Blu-ray players are going the way of the dodo. Most people still have some form of DVD player in a computer or something. You know, it's hard to direct download films, but other than the DVD, other than the inevitable digital release that happens on streaming, it is my intention that similar to a CD, similar to a record, We're gonna put Phantom Fun World on our back, and we're gonna tour this motherfucking thing. So
Yeah,
watch out for screenings in places like
right.
Lexington, Kentucky, in Providence, Rhode Island, in New York, in Boston, anywhere where I can get a theater and enough interested heads to come sit for an hour and 30 minutes and then do maybe a 60-minute Q&A. We're going to do it, man. And if I got to come out in full Chainsaw Charlie regalia every night and do the character on stage for people to come out, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
You have to. You have to. You have to. That was one of the questions that I had here for you, Chuck. It was basically, are you guys gonna screen this motherfucker? Are you gonna go on tour? Are you gonna put this in some indie theaters and shit? And also, when I got the trailer and I saw the trailer of Phantom Fun World, I fucking ran to Google and I looked up like Shudder. I was like, how can this be on Shudder? Like, I basically was like, and they're like, oh, we don't take any solicited videos or whatnot. I'm like,
see, so that's where this comes in. So like, clearly we'll have a premiere event. Typically I know Tori likes to do those at home, so I know he did his last premiere event at Scarefest Lexington, which okay. I would love to do that and be there for that. I intend on having some sort of an East Coast premiere, whether that's in New York or Boston or Providence. I'm seeing a genre in growth, like in amazing ways. Mm-hmm. When I look at horror, and I don't mean, I don't mean the rap stuff. I mean, I do, because it all kind of can fit in the same bucket. But when I'm looking around, I'm seeing things pop up like crazy. I mean, Twisted just announced they're kind of handling the Ice Nine Kills convention, the Silver Screams convention, which is essentially another horror convention. Right. We've got horror conventions that go down here in Massachusetts damn near monthly. We got Monster Expo. We got Return to Monster Expo. Now Silver Screens Con going on in Boston. We've got the Salem Film Festival, which is a horror convention. We've got PVD Horror, which is an organization that does monthly screenings. There is so much rabid horror fandom going on right now. If you give people anything that's entertaining, I think they will come out, they will see it. And these screenings give you more than just your average, hey, I went and saw Top Gun in the theater, I paid $17. I ate my fucking nachos. With what you're getting from these screenings, typically, is you're getting at least one of the filmmakers in the house with you. You're getting characters possibly in costume to take photo ops with. You're getting up close and personal experiences with props, with things directly from the film, which you're going to see as part of future live appearances from me. I have several of the items from this movie that are joining my personal collection of stuff. So the Phantom's blade, for example, his knife, is going to be in my possession and will be traveling the road with me and the film when I take it from place to place or I go to conventions or whatever. You've got Mad Monster, you've got Spookalia, you got every state's got 9 or 10 different horror conventions at this point. The horror convention is overtaking the pop culture and comic book convention as like the number one thing. And we're seeing it all over the place. Scream 6 production news is being met with fucking fanfare. We've got Child's Play returning for a second season on TV after 20 years of films. And Chucky has now become an LGBTQ icon. Like it's such a changing world, and it's so great to see just the acceptance of the horror genre and the horror art form. And it's awesome to be attached to a property like Phantom that I feel like I'm on the ground floor of something that could be huge. Like huge. Right. Because it's funny, it's scary, it's poignant, it's all the things that you want out of a film. It just so happens there's a bunch of blood and guts in that motherfucker too.
Absolutely. Yo, Shudder, make sure y'all pick this motherfucking movie up, man. Stop playing. So when do you think it's gonna drop?
I'm thinking October. As long as everything goes as planned. Like I said, we got 8 days left on the current Finishing Funds campaign. That's available over on phantomfunworld.com. We're trying to raise, I think, another $9,000 in the next 8 days. That'll bring us in at literally the minimum amount of money that Tori has worked out to do some digital effects. And I don't mean anything with the blood or the guts or stuff like that, but like background stuff, like filling out buildings and filling out outside shots with more interesting stuff. Also,
Right.
we used some 4K cameras to film this Bad Mama Jamma in the form of those red cameras. Anybody who's in the filmmaking world knows those red cameras. So the
Mm.
editing and the color correction and stuff that's got to happen to that's a little more pricey than what he's used to. He wants to make sure it's composed in the proper way. And then anything that we end up with that turns out to be quote unquote extra, which there ain't nothing left on the cheese, so I don't know what extra there would be, but it will
Right.
all be going into the marketing and things that go forward. We've already been lucky enough to have the film featured on bloodydisgusting.com, which is like one of the number one horror websites.
Right.
Coming up there right alongside Fangoria and the shit that I remember when I was a kid. So
Right.
clearly this is something that's going to have a lot of eyes on it, and the people involved in this project all have projects coming out that have even more eyes on them. So it's a snowball effect. It's a cascading snowball effect, and by October, I hope no one can handle the excitement as we beat down the doors on what I'm calling the stabbiest place on earth, Phantom Film World. I'm excited. I'm excited for people to see it.
I'm excited too, man. I'm excited for you and for myself, and I'm definitely gonna fucking put some dollars behind it. Um, let's talk about Gibby Sight.
That's the dude, man. Remote Control
That,
dropped this weekend. Go get that
yes,
shit.
he did. Yes, he did. That's my guy, man. I feel like he should do a little bit more interaction with his peoples on Instagram. Anybody that leaves him a comment, this motherfucker should be responding and talking to people so he could build himself up to where he should be.
He's busy. He's a young kid, and let me tell you, we all know he deals with anxiety and stuff. It takes a week for me to get an inbox message returned. So if anybody's trying to get at the kid and you can't, it's not personal. I hope it's not. I fucking hope. If anybody needs to take it personal, it's me. But
Right.
it's nice to see him. That Illville Worldwide. I'm holding up here on the screen for people to see it. Gibby is proof positive that a deal running its course with a underground label or any type of label, a deal running its course is not the worst thing. It's not the
Right.
end of the world. And in
Right.
some places, it can actually open you up to do greater business. Because what
Right.
we're seeing in Gibby Stites right now is somebody who went from, where do you think he was ranked? I'm talking about in their own structure. Twisted's clearly one.
Right.
Blaze.
He had to be like fifth, sixth.
So there you go. So he goes from fourth or fifth in the lineup over there at M&E, which is great.
Right.
Which is great. Which for some people out there is dream shit. Trust
Right.
me, I get it. He went from that to being the number one artist on Illville Worldwide, his own label. Okay? He's no longer splitting a percentage with anybody. He no longer has to wait. Like, you have to understand, when you're the fifth in line, and if y'all got songs to come out, they're not all going to come out on the same day, because that's bad business for the company.
Right.
Now that he's by himself, the only dick he got to worry about stepping on is his own. And at this point, he ain't stepping on nobody's dick. I know he's with that dude, Benny Holiday. They're doing big things with that Snow Goons deal. Snow Goons, if you don't know, Snow Goons is European hip hop. Period. European hip hop. Dot. That's what Snow Goons is, bro. If you want to fucking do hip hop in Europe, get with Snow Goons. If you want to do underground hip hop, that's what they do. They've done it for 20 years. They are the only game in town. So
Right.
Gibby and Benny got that joint with Snow Goons. Gibby's releasing solo joints within 7 days of that.
Right.
Putting out videos all over this motherfucker, making
He's
cypher appearances.
He's a hard-working motherfucker. I'll tell you that much. He's a hard-working motherfucker. He's working on songs all the fucking time.
He wouldn't be able to do that because if he was still in the situation he was in. Because as the fifth dude, every call he got had to be followed by a call to somebody else. And then, and then it becomes a negotiation. Now it's ring ring, Gibby Stites Enterprises, fucking head Gibby in charge here. Like, he's the head Gibby in charge. So
I think that his problem with Magic Ninjas is that most artists on Magic Ninjas take like 2 years to drop an album.
I don't think it was a problem. I think Magic Ninja as an entity, Magic Ninja Entertainment, is in a state of flux. And I think...
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
They're not a rap label anymore.
You think that they're just a rock label? I know
They're a rock label, bro. Tell me different.
Because Twisted is doing a rock album. Do you think Twisted's going to come back to rap, or they're just going to do rock from now on?
I hope not.
Why not?
Because, all right, hold on. I'm glad you brought this up because I want to look up something. So there's somebody who the boys like quite a bit, who has been booked for Astronomicon. He's been booked twice. He only was able to show up one time, right? But he's somebody that's super well respected and super well known within the rock area. I want to make sure I'm saying the right quote here. Before I say it. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm talking about Corey Taylor. So Corey Taylor from Slipknot, the lead singer of Slipknot, somebody who we know Twisted probably looks up to. Twisted's booked him several times for Astronomicon. Corey's done work with Tech. Corey's also well versed in rap music, whether people know it or not. Like, just because that's the thing, just because you do one style of music does not mean you can't be well versed in others.
Right, absolutely.
Essentially, and he wasn't talking about Twisted when he said this. But what he basically said was, imagine getting your ass beat in one genre of music so fucking bad that after 20 years you fucking try something else. He was talking about MGK.
Oh, that's what I was about to ask you. Who is he talking about?
But the sediment, it's the same. The sediment's the fucking same. At this point, the rap element of Magic Ninja has been beaten so far into the ground that they had to go try to do something else.
That's what you think? That's
what I know. I mean, the biggest news to come out of M&E, besides the fact that they're opening for Attila, which that's because Attila and Twisted now have the same management team.
Is it what?
That shouldn't even be news. That's on that.
Who's managing Attila?
George
V.
Shit. George V is now the manager of Attila and the manager of Twisted. So understand. Psychopathic Records was an underground rap label. It remains that way. It's still an underground rap label.
Right.
Magic Ninja Entertainment started as an underground rap label.
Right.
And after however many years of war, for whatever reason, decided to go the other route.
Why do you think that is, though? Hold on. Why do you think that is? Do you think that the Juggalo crowd is abandoning Magic Ninja?
I mean, Paul apologized for the march.
I heard that.
So, how do I put this? Because I first of all, I don't want to piss nobody off. Let me clarify some stuff. Chuck ain't mad about nothing. Chuck ain't even mad about certain things that happened to him over the last month.
And we'll ask you about that in a second.
Chuck's super unbothered by shit. But
okay, go for it. Because Chuck got a lot of shit going on. He's been through some shit recently.
The people who were given the ability and given the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, by Jamie and Paul to run the next phase of their career, which me and everybody else thought should have been underground rap, right? Those keys were handed to a couple of people who had already proven that they were inept in the hip hop lane. And I'm saying that to say they weren't inept in management. They weren't inept in business. They weren't inept in money, but they were inept in hip hop. Okay. So what happened? they sign a unheard of underground dude, right?
Who?
And
Who are you talking about?
Who was the first Magic Ninja signing?
That I don't know.
Besides Blaze, which Blaze, we're not talking
Blaze.
Anybody who came from Psychopathic, we can't even talk about when it comes to Blaze.
Right. Blaze, ROC,
Lex,
the Hex Master,
who's a Queens dude, who had nothing to do with Juggalos before.
He didn't?
No, hell no, not at all. Didn't even know what a Juggalo was.
I was under the impression
painted his face because painted the face because he liked the movie Dead Prez.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, there was a crop of those kids coming up. There's another one from New York whose name escapes me right now, who kept trying to beef with Eminem. I can't fucking. He looks like J. Cole, but he wears like white face paint. He was another one.
I don't fucking know.
And then there were always what we called the ghetto metal kids, your Sutter Kanes, and these guys that were connected to Juggaloism very remotely, but like were more on the hip hop side. And I always considered myself one of those people. Yeah, I'm a Juggalo, but my Juggalo shit was more geared towards hip hop. Like that's why I'm in a Wu-Tang video. That's why I'm in a Sean Price video. Like I'm more of a hip hop dude.
Right. I seen you out here in these hip hop videos. I seen you with the beard.
I come around and my attitude is like I like hip hop, and I kind of think I got ideas that can kind of steer certain things into the hip hop lane. And that's where like my championing of Zool and my championing of Gibby, you know, when that time came.
Right.
And for example, do you remember when the boys did No Jumper?
Yeah.
Well, it took me emailing George 3 fucking times before he even looked into what No Jumper was. Because Adam had expressed multiple occasions on episodes that he had been a Twisted fan. And I kept emailing George, and George don't listen to No Jumper because he's not a hip hop dude. They're rock guys. So the fandom of the guys that were put in charge of Magic Ninja, not Jamie and Paul now, but the other guys, the guys I dealt with, mind you. I never did any business with Jamie or Paul. Don't get it twisted.
No?
Nope. I think in
Straight George? Was it just straight George?
I spoke to Jamie more than Paul, and I only spoke to Jamie twice.
Oh, shit.
And you saw how many years I fucked with them. Because my thing was, if something goes down, I'd rather be mad at these two dudes who I don't give a fuck about than Twisted. But as you get involved in shit, you realize that it's like any local crew. It's like any local crew. And a couple guys that want to get close to Rob Zombie. Basically, you have a guy who wants to meet Rob Zombie, and he doesn't want to have to pay for VIPs anymore. And that guy has a band in his control. And he's moving that band into position where he can get closer to Rob Zombie. So this week, there was a picture that popped up on social media, I guess. I didn't even see it. I stopped watching. Well, you do rock music now. As far as I'm concerned, I'm no longer in your wheelhouse. Like I'm no longer your target demographic. 42-year-old hip hop head is not going to gravitate towards your new shit. I fucking told them that.
Right.
They had a picture of them in the studio with this Zeus person. Does anybody know who this dude is? So Zeus is Rob Zombie's engineer.
Right.
So I know that other than now that they're in the studio with him, they had never met him. But they had done work with him before remotely. He did the mix and the master on the last record. The one that didn't perform that good, the rock record, which I have no opinion on because I'm not a fan of that type of music. This is what I know. This is what I know to be true. And this annoys me from a hip-hop perspective, and it should annoy other people from a hip-hop perspective. At one point, there were 6 or 8 producers over there at Magic Ninja doing beats, right? Fritz, fucking Young Wicked, Paulie, Jamie, ROC, Gibby, Godsynth, Stir Crazy,
right?
Fucking Foul Mouth. Like, basically, you got a bunch of dudes over there. And they're getting, $30 a beat or something? Like, and that's open market. That's like open market shit.
Right.
And then,
That's least.
and
That's
you gotta
least
think,
price for me.
and you gotta think that when they go to the label with these things, the label's getting them at an even cheaper price because they're using the "we're giving you placements" argument, right? So by us using your tracks get more traction, you sell more tracks, we don't have to pay as much. I get that. I even understand that.
Right.
But then fucking because of a lack of hip hop knowledge, there's an argument about beat tagging. Certain people don't want tags on the beats kept in there. Well, the landscape of hip hop has changed. And beat tagging now can be as important to the beat itself as the drums, as anything. So that 2-second hit boy at the beginning of a track can move units for you.
Right.
There's people over there who have no fucking who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Who are like, well, that doesn't matter. Beat tags don't matter. Beat tags are stupid. And it's like, from what fucking vantage point do you have the fucking knowledge or the fucking, like, anything to even say that? So they're not maintaining that. So they lost a large chunk of their production team. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, a lot of those guys are now independents. A lot of those guys just went away. Okay. How do you think they feel?
Stupid.
No. I'm not even talking about what they did. I'm talking about what they're doing now, where I know that Zeus is making more money than any producer that's ever worked for Magic Ninja Entertainment. Why is that?
Or are you talking about the producers getting the shaft?
Because if people realized how much of, and I'm not just speaking on them either. Now I'm speaking underground at large. The amount of the structure and the amount of the infrastructure, the amount of everything that is based on the idea of free work. Holy shit, bro. Holy shit. Do you know who does almost all of Magic Ninja's graphic artist designs?
No. Who's that?
Well, he's a rapper. And you would think that
Intrinsic?
Nope. You would think that if you were a rapper and you did all the graphic artists for a rap duo, that they might put anything behind you.
Right, throw you a bone.
They throw him bones. They throw him bones. They most certainly throw him bones. But that's what they are, is bones. And I don't know how certain people get away with like, at some point the bone ain't worth nothing to me no more. Like, now y'all do rock music. So, like, that's the thing. At some point I was getting bones. But the bones that they were offering were like, bro, I don't collect t-shirts. Like, I don't like rock music. Like, I
Wait a minute. Hold on, Chuck. You telling me that they're doing the work for some free merch that they pressed up and they were going to give out regardless?
So let's talk about NetFest for a second. So,
man,
let's say this container's NetFest, and that's the container for the NetFest money.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no NetFest money, and the reason that there's no NetFest money is because we're not charging for NetFest, and we're not spending any money. So nobody's getting a booking fee, nothing. So NetFest is over. Now, what I do know is that I had an idea for merchandise, and it was merch that got sold. I got a little up here on the wall, and it was the tickets, like specifically the tickets and like the backstage passes. Like the fucking other shit, man, they're real good at ripping shit off, so whatever. So here's the merch bucket. And we'll just call this bucket C that I hadn't been fucking introduced to yet. So I'm asking about bucket A, which is the NetFest bucket. Oh, shit, man. That bucket's not only empty, that bucket's in the red. How's that bucket in the red, bro? Well, the fee, like the money that got spent. Now, I don't mean certain, like there were certain small things that got spent. Like I hired Superhuman and threw him a couple $100, like, you know what I mean, like little shit like that.
Right, right.
But the fee for the camera crew to film Twisted Blaze, Boondocks, a camera crew, mind you, that works for Magic Ninja directly, like is one of their contractors. So that's a whole nother level of whatever.
Fuckery, yeah.
But that bill went to this bucket. And I was like, wait a minute, we didn't let anybody else charge back like production costs on their shit to Magic to Netfest, so why were they? Whatever. Out of my hands, bro. I just did the work.
Right. So what did you do for them? What were you doing for them at the time?
So that's bucket C. Bucket C is the money that got spent on stuff that I didn't know. So bucket C and bucket A became the same bucket, and that bucket became big and empty. And then I said, well, what about the merchandise bucket? Because the merch bucket I know did good, because I saw everybody with those fucking stupid things and those fucking jerseys and everything else. Right. Apparently, this bucket was a totally different bucket entirely. And I wasn't even entitled to find out what was in this bucket. Buyer beware, bro. Buyer fucking beware.
What did you do for M&E?
I did a bunch of shit. You know what I did. I passed information along as I was given it. I was asked for ideas. I gave ideas. I provided ideas. I provided a pulse in the underground to them that they didn't have a finger on, clearly, because they wouldn't have, like, you know what I mean? I tried to prevent them from stepping in shit. Like there was at least one interaction with CPN that they had that I didn't have, that I later recommended that they not have again. Like I tried to do what I could so they could. I don't know. I tried to contribute. There we go.
Right.
I tried to contribute, and very quickly. I mean, I contributed for a long time, but I mean, I think it was begrudgingly. Like I don't know what any. I know what maybe certain people might have if there is an issue, but like I couldn't think of nothing generally overall. Like if one of the rappers on the label is a fan of Joyner Lucas, and then he found out that me and Joyner Lucas had a fight, and that Joyner Lucas as a result didn't want to play with him or whatever, I can see as that maybe being a problem. But then talk to me about it. Don't just let me be whatever the fuck. And then once it became very clear that Chuck's path was not going to be free work forever, while you feed him opening slots once every 2 years, I mean, things just dried up. And where we're at right now, and this is I'm glad you brought this up for this reason. Everybody knows what the fuck happened to me. Certain people want to act like they're not involved now. Did he or did he not come to your business? Did he or did he not racially abuse artists on your label until they had breakdowns, essentially?
Who are you talking about? Hold on.
My assailant from a month ago. So I've reached out to certain people and been like, bro, you tangled with this dude for years, just like I did. Can you help me now? And I haven't gotten a call back from nobody. On top of that, and this is the first time I've openly said anything about it with my voice. I posted about it. The Monday after the hammer attack. So I got hit on Sunday. I'm sorry, it wasn't Monday.
Wait a minute. So we go in there. We're going into the CPN, Childsplayninja.
The only reason me and that piece of shit ever tangled at all was because of the ICP Twisted thing. That's why this is all crazy at this point now. Is that this whole ICP Twisted thing has now come up to this thing that happened 4 weeks ago, that although unrelated, can be tied to the situation very easily, without any effort at all.
Right.
So whatever, like everybody knows, it's on the fucking internet. Fucking search search Chuck Reeves hammer. You're gonna find it. I'm sick of talking about it, man. Like
I know you're sick of talking about it.
Everybody's got their own idea of what happened. And
hold on, Chuck. What the fuck happened? How the fuck did it happen? I understood. I saw the link that you put up today about some shit that he was snitching
Well,
on
no.
4 years ago.
So me and him,
How did this happen?
me and him, you know, because of the twisted ICP bullshit and my involvement in that, and his involvement on basically what was the other side of the argument, we went back and forth from 2017 till like the middle of the pandemic, essentially. At some point, CPN became a fucking leader of a de facto subset of the Juggalos, like his own little fucking realm of whatever.
Right.
They harass people online. Like, I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know. So
Right.
I don't fuck with him anymore. I don't make content that like would draw his interest. I don't talk of him. Nothing. During the pandemic, the NetFest thing happened. He did Gathering in the Matrix, which was like a similar event. I gave him props for that openly. Like, I gave his wife props for that. Because in the time of me not fucking with him, he got married to a girl who was one of the keynote speakers at the Juggalo March Against Gang shit. This girl, Roxy Red. Real nice lady. So, they've been married like 2 years. I ain't said word one about this dude. I've been out here trying to get mine. Trying to do movies and shit. Whatever. I'm doing the beard shit. Back in April, I had beard shit in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
That's where Roxy Red lives, and that's where Childsplayninja was living. But back in February, they broke up. Their marriage was over. CPN went as far as he moved out of state. So when I went down there in April, she was down there alone, going through a divorce. Man had moved out of state, whatever the fuck, whatever. We go out for drinks. We hit it off. I go home. I come home. For a month, we're talking, like on the phone and shit. And she's like, "Oh, are you coming back?" I was like, "Yeah, I can come back. I can make an excuse to come back, see friends or whatever." So I go back. Literally, I'm not even there a full day. And that dude broke into her house. Because she wasn't answering text messages. Because she was out with me. Now, we had been real secretive about... Oh, he moved back, by the way. Like, without anybody even knowing. He moved to a place... This is all going to come out. Like, there's so many layers to this, it's ridiculous. But bottom line, after a 4-day freakout session after him, I finally pulled up to his apartment because the police couldn't get him to fucking calm down, and nobody could seem to get him to calm down. So I go over there to try to calm his ass down. He comes out of the house with a hammer. And I fucking went off. I said some shit I probably shouldn't have said. And then I got out, and then he hit me with the hammer. And that's the end of that story. And it's all on YouTube. It's all on YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't seen that video. That one I haven't seen. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen that video. But I do know, like, I've been in situations like that where you either break up with a girl, the girl's not even broken up with you, or the girl breaks up with you. Like, I've had a girl that broke up with me and was fucking a dude 3 apartments down in the building. And I just would never fuck with the dude. I would never try to hit him. I would never try to get into shit.
So
because I understand. Like,
when the whole thing comes out, people are going to understand, like, he was doing things to abuse his wife that he thought were legal. Or he was being led to believe were legal. So at one point, while I was in town, he had hacked her Wi-Fi box and saw my phone, like, in the box. And at that point, I was like, well, fuck. Now we're too close. Now I have to be the one to tell him. Because if I don't tell him and he finds out on his own, he's going to kill me.
Right.
Because we all knew he was psycho, too. See, that's the thing. This is not new information for anybody who's familiar with this dude. And that's where certain people's involvement, or shall I say non-involvement, at this point has really gotten stuck in my craw. So they take him to jail, right? And then they let him bail out like an hour fucking later. And this crazy motherfucker goes to his wife's apartment, not even the place where he hit me with the hammer, a second address. And then he streamed himself committing a home invasion. And then he tried to rape her in front of me. So we got into a fist fight. He beat the fuck out of me. And then thankfully I was able to take his back and choke him out. Like, there's so much more to it. But, like, I'm trying to give you the short version because the long version becomes its own fucking thing. But The big thing is like this guy's been a problem for anybody involved in a certain segment of underground music. This guy's been an issue.
Right. No, I watched his shit because what I was doing, I was going on YouTube and checking out other influencers from the underground and shit, and I found your shit, and I'm like, this guy's funny, this guy's entertaining. I'm gonna hit him up, see what's up, try to get him on the podcast. I saw his shit, and I was like, I can't really vibe with dude. But what I noticed was the type of person that he was. He's a hater. Like, and he's a weirdo to me. And which is weird because Shane Coates, who's a certified pedo now and is in jail, me and him were cool.
Certified alleged.
Is it alleged?
Yeah, he ain't been convicted of nothing. And I ain't going to convict that boy of nothing until he's convicted of stuff. Like, that's...
You're right. Hold on. You're right, because at the same time, like, when I knew him, we stayed in some millionaire kid fucking house.
So did you know Davey? Did you know Davey?
Davey?
All right,
no,
so
I didn't know Davey.
So now we're getting into something that I'm not real schooled in.
Versed in. Right.
This is what I do know. So my first interactions with the higher powers at fucking Psychopathic Records and like the juggalo fucking social ladder, so to speak, was not in regards to the march. It was in regards to the employment and the criminal history of a person that works at Psychopathic Records by the name of Will Sigler. Anybody who knows Will Sigler knows he's got a rape on his jacket. Now, the actual fucking ins and outs of the crime itself are up for debate. I don't give a fuck. Just the bottom line is, motherfucker's got a rape on his jacket. He copped to it. He allocuted in court to it because he took a plea. He got major fucking time with the plea. Like he did more than 5 years. And that was with a plea bargain, right? And then as part of his deal, he didn't have to register as a sex offender. So he's not on any list. Like, it's the weirdest shit. That guy's biggest defenders were Shane Coates, who routinely went at me, and CPN. And this crazy McCormick individual, who's one of CPN's little cronies, who may not have nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
I also know for a fact that Shane Coates, whatever it was, a year ago, 2 years ago, when he was trying to get his drug-addicted mother out to the gathering of the Juggalos, and he put up a GoFundMe, Will Sigler paid the entirety of the $280 or whatever that it cost to get this lady to the gathering. I know that for a fact, too. That's come out recently, again, because of videos of CPN talking to Deviant Horror. All this other shit, his wife being a prostitute, whatever the fuck the mother is saying, whatever accusations are in this Victims of Shane Coates Facebook group, I got nothing to do with that. But what I do know is I don't think CPN's like descent into madness started with finding out I was hanging out with his wife. Because he was acting crazy before that. His descent into madness started when somebody close to him in Shane Coates was arrested for what he was arrested for. Right.
You know, because obviously, like, I know him and Shane Coates was very, very close. And when I heard about the shit and everybody's putting up these fucking crazy memes about Shane Coates being a pedo, I'm like, I never knew Shane Coates for being a pedo. I knew him for being a wild boy. I knew him for doing shit like pissing on girls they didn't like. Like, if he was in a pool, I remember him being in the pool and peeing on a chick because she didn't want to fucking leave. He pulled his dick out and peed. Now, that's some shit that you get in trouble for.
See, now you can red flag that.
Right. Absolutely. But
at the time, you might not. At the time, you might not.
Right. For me, I was looking at him like, dog, why you did that shit? That's some bullshit. You didn't do that shit. You just tell her to fucking leave. And I seen him dress up as drag and get on fucking chat roulette and con dudes into being like jerking off to him, and then be like, you're a fucking, you know what I mean? On camera, and be like, you're
all things you could red flag now.
Right. Now you can see it. But at the time, he wouldn't do all the shit that people are saying he's doing because I was there, and I would be like, dog, don't do that shit. What the fuck you trying to do? You know what I mean? Like those are the type of things that I would do.
These were my
But
concerns when
I never seen no bullshit like what I'm hearing.
the Juggalo scene wasn't the first scene that Shane Coates was kicking it around at.
That's how I met him. I met him in the crunk core scene.
Okay,
I
and
met
then
him.
other than that, he was in the emo scene. He's been
Right,
attached.
right.
He was roommates with a dude named Davy Vanity or Davy Vanity,
Davy Vanity,
who's like
which I
unknown,
toured with,
who's like a fucking known creeper now.
which I toured with, and I seen it. And a lot of the shit that he did was creepy, but most of the shit that he did, fucking with 17 and 16-year-old girls, he had consent from their parents. Their parents is
But
bringing him to the
like
shows and was like,
you know what's
"Hey,
going on. That's why I'm into full grown women, my dude. Like I don't even fuck around and make
obviously,
jokes no more because if I make the
right,
wrong joke, somebody's gonna clip it and I'm gonna have to hear about it for 5 fucking years. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So like,
right,
especially my daughter being 14 years old and CPN saying what he
right."
said about her during our interactions, but you
I
know,
heard that too. That was some wild shit that he said. He should get
but
slapped in the head just for that right
yeah,
there.
but like I understood why, and if you understood the situation, now things are gonna change. And as they change, people are going to realize, oh, Jesus, Chuck's been right this whole time. But, like, at the moment, he's only been charged with 3 crimes. I'm talking about Ryan now, not fucking Shane. The thing
Right,
about
right,
it
right,
is you got 2 different people going on right now.
right,
Shane and Raya. Now, in the long term, I think Raya's facing way more time than Shane
right,
is
right.
because of other stuff. But, and especially the fact that he's been calling from jail every week and making the story more crazy every week. But those 2 guys, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. They seem like they're so far removed from one another, like lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
wise,
Mm-hmm.
that if there was something behind the scenes keeping them linked, we wouldn't know about it.
No,
Um,
I think.
like I said,
Hold on.
I keep bringing up the computer shit, man. Anything, all of this is contained in those computers that he's so worried about because that dude is so worried about Raya, is so worried about his fucking computers that he's accusing me of stealing them.
Mm,
Like that dude's worried about those computers for whatever reason. So
I
my thing is July 12th, bro. July 12th is like the next big day. Like every one of these jail phone calls turns into news because he says some crazy shit, right? And I don't know why they continue to let Homeboy make phone calls, but I would not doubt if all this shit is connected. The Shane Coates thing, because we ain't heard or seen Shane since he got arrested,
right.
but we've been hearing a lot about CPN and seeing a lot of CPN since he got arrested. Like we've been seeing a lot of that dude since he got arrested on the internet.
Nah, cause not for nothing.
Shane could just be
Not
talking.
hold on, Chuck. Not for nothing, Chuck. Shane Coates, as far as how I knew him, he was a sweetheart of a guy. Sweetheart.
All I know is
He would play that
that's one of the
tough
dudes.
shit.
That's one of the dudes that CPN talked into that I was horrible because I disagreed with him on the march.
No,
That's why at the moment, like with what's going on and the headline, unfortunately, and it's what's gonna be the headline once all these charges hit this dude next month and like the press gets wind of this, because the thing is, the Virginia local press has not yet heard the story of the Juggalo gang leader who was the most vocal proponent of the anti-gang march in Washington, which is 40 minutes from her house, who had a sign that said the FBI listens to Nickelback. That fucking guy. He tried to rape and fucking hurt his fucking wife, who was a keynote speaker at that same event. And the dude who was the biggest online opponent of that march saved that chick's life. That's the story. My original problem with the march had to do with this. My original problem had to do with, as a subculture and as a group of people, juggalos had become already too accepting. And
I feel you.
we became like that last stop on the train line. Like
Right.
Creeper gets on the train and He can't get down with regular hip hop people because he's been kicked out because he fucking did something weird. He can't be with the emos. He can't be with the scenesters. He can't be with the crunkcore. He can't be with whatever. And then last stop, Shangri-La. And Juggalos are there. And this is the dumping ground. We've been talking about Juggalos in terms of if you have your general population and you have your Trump supporters, those are your Juggalos, right? And then you have your QAnon people. Those are your CPN fans. So when CPN calls from jail and tells what's left of his fan base that his wife has died and a fucking demon has taken her place, people are killing their kids and then saying that QAnon told them that about the
He
kids.
said that shit? Did he say that shit?
He said that shit about his wife on the phone from jail the other night. He's literally saying things that QAnon people are using as the means to kill people, like kill their families. So I'm still like, it's been 5 weeks now. It's been over a month since this shit happened, and more shit's going on since.
Right.
No matter how much time goes by, my number one fucking priority in this situation is keep Roxy Red safe. So like, that dude's in jail. Unless he fucking digs out El Pork Chapo style.
El Pork Chapo, I saw that shit too. That's funny.
He ain't getting out.
That's some funny shit.
And then I don't think he's getting out on the 12th when we go to court. And I think he's in there for the long haul. Like anybody who thinks they're just going to let him out and all of a sudden I'm going to be in there taking his place. It's not how any of this works, man. Like this is literally not how any of that works. Like once you're in there, you're fucking in there. Right. So it is what it is. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at anybody. If you are truly of the mindset that he's somehow innocent in all this, I don't have the energy to argue with you.
Right. I think. Hold on, Chuck. Hold on, Chuck. I know. But I seen Crazy McCormick talk about, I understand what he did because I would have did this shit, dog. That is up to you. That is your responsibility.
They've got people saying that it's because of ICP's music. He's got people that are in his inner circle who, back in 2017, were claiming that ICP fans were not violent by nature and that we were not a gang. These same people are now on the internet saying, of course CPN acts like this. What would you expect? He's a juggalo. You cannot. So, you know what I mean? So understand that my original argument against the march was that I believed the march was going to create this weird catch-all where it was like, if anybody claims that you're doing anything bad, you're going to be able to go, but it's because I'm a juggalo. Nah, bro, it's because you might be raping that little kid. Like, it might be because you are abusing your wife. It might be because you're a subhuman.
Weirdo.
Yeah, maybe you're just a subhuman. You know what I mean? Just because we listen to the same type of music should not have been the sole metric by which friendships were made.
And I think the problem with that is that it's called psychopathic records. So you get actual psychopaths that go into loony bins or go into jail and get labeled a psychopath directly from doctors and government. So now you feel like this is where I should be.
So basically, here we are now, right? And we have a company that still is utilizing these people to make money off of, and that's Psychopathic Records. They've not said anything to distance themselves from him. But that didn't stop them from promoting him in previous days, like in previous times. Now, Magic Ninja Entertainment, they had nothing to do with making that dude. But they did give that dude legitimacy. And the way they did that was, for whatever reason, they said Childsplayninja's name in public more times than they said mine.
I don't fucking understand that.
So I dare anybody watching, find me one instance where Twisted said my name.
Never. Once. I never heard your fucking name.
It never fucking happened. It never fucking happened. But they certainly threatened Raya, and they certainly went back and forth with him on the fucking internet and let me and my family get abused by his followers on their behalf while they hide their wives and children. But the difference is that Twisted's hiding their wives and children not because they are worried, but because they don't want their wives to find out about what they do.
Ooh. All right, we'll leave it right there. We'll leave it right there. Chuck,
But it
we'll
is
leave
what
it
it
right
is.
there.
Yo, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. I know.
Appreciate you being on. Yo, check out the Phantom Fun World, Indiegogo. Give a couple dollars to them.
www.phantomfunworld.com. Get
Do
involved,
that.
contribute. All contributions come with screen use props, exclusive merchandise, pre-orders, or in-film experiences for you or your brand. If you got a question, hit me up. Fucking my shit's all out there too, man. Fucking we good.
No doubt, no doubt. Chuck Reeves, thank you for being on the fucking podcast. Thanks everybody for popping by. Thanks everybody that's gonna pop by later. Make sure y'all check this out, the Godhead fucking EP. Make sure y'all check this shit out. We got some 5 tracks on you, fire shit, different shit. Yo, make sure you donate if you can donate. Leave a comment, leave a like, share this shit to a motherfucker that might care about this shit. This is Street Shaman Podcast. I am Shamanic Poe, aka Poe and the Rockstar. I'm here with Chuck Reeves, and we out of here, motherfucker.